Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Senior Cat Wellness. If you are not already, please hit that subscribe button and turn on all post notifications so that you never miss a video. Today, it's a bit of a loaded topic, and it's a great topic. It was a requested topic and a subject I'm very happy to cover because it has many layers, all of which are very important. Feral cats are one of the most challenging and emotionally complicated issues in many communities. And if you're someone who has stepped in and stepped up to care for them, you already know how heavy that responsibility can really be and really feel. So today, we're talking about the true struggles, the real struggles that people face when trying to help feral cats and why support is often so very limited and what you can do that truly makes a difference, not just for the cats in question, but for your own peace of mind as a loving and responsible caregiver. First up, let's start by talking about what a feral cat actually is per definition. A feral cat and a stray cat, they're not the same. In short, a stray cat is a cat at any time in the past, whether we're talking about 1 week ago or 5 years ago, they had a home, they had a family, they had an owner, a human owner. They lived on someone's property, they lived in their home. Now, for whatever reason, perhaps the owner moved away and left the cat behind, and now the cat is sort of on the streets, let's say, or the cat has left home, run away from home, and it's a missing cat that is now on the land. But a stray cat is a cat that has been socialized, has had that socialization with humans, perhaps for a very long time. And as I said, the core definition here is a stray cat is a cat that did have a home, and once upon a time did have a home. Feral cats, these are cats that were born on the land, live on the land, minimal to no socialization to amount to anything with humans. Like I said, born on the land, live on the land, and that's where they stay. It could be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but these are cats who have never lived in someone's house. Just for, in layman's terms, let's just say they've never lived inside anyone's home. Being that our topic today is about feral cats, because of that, cats that have just lived on the land their whole life, human interaction can be crazy stressful and anxiety-filled for them. They're very fearful, quite defensive, and often very uncomfortable in an indoor setting. If they were to be placed in one or perhaps trapped inside of someone's home. And this is one of the biggest reasons, the biggest problems that people run into. Many shelters and humane societies are not able to safely, responsibly accept feral felines. It's not that the shelters don't care. Most of the time, you're dealing with good people who genuinely want to help. But the reality of the situation is that feral cats don't cope well in confined, closed-in environments. In a cage, in a kennel, that's just that's a huge problem to say the very least. Shelters are often not equipped to rehabilitate a fearful and anxious and unsocialized adult cat. Feral cats in cages, like I said, stress. They can just sort of shut down altogether or become very defensive. They could bite and scratch the caretakers, and not to mention just the noise in the environment. If you've got cats in a shelter that are stray cats that are used to human interaction, and the cage right next to them, you have this feral cat just going bonkers, that's just an unsettling environment for all parties involved. It goes far beyond just the cat. It's all of the cats, all of the people. That's not a common and sort of a safe and positive environment. Feral cats, they can't really be handled with care as much as possible, but it's not safe. They can be very assertive in their actions, which could be bad for the people responsible for that care. And they can't be adopted into a traditional home in a traditional sense, because placing them in a home, this is now you're posing a threat potentially to the people who've adopted this feral cat. And it's not the fault of the feral cat. Make no mistake, these aren't bad cats. It's just that's all they've known. They don't know people. They don't know a loving home environment. In fact, our definition of a loving home environment would freak them out. It's not, they're used to calling their own shots and doing their own thing, and simply being petted. You could come away with claw marks on your hand just for trying to do something loving. So it's a whole different ball game here when you're talking feral cats. Shelters, when they refuse to take feral cats, it's not because they don't want to help. It's because taking them, it's not in this cat's best interest or the interest of anyone else in that shelter. The shelter staff, they're overwhelmed. They don't have the ability to socialize and care for these feral cats, so that's a huge problem. but it puts a burden on the community. This brings it back to the people. And as the person who requested this was talking about feral cats and caring for them, it puts the job, right or wrong, whether they want it or not, back on the community, back in the neighborhoods. Because if you can't send these cats to shelters, they're sort of back on the streets. If you're watching this video, as the person who requested this could be a situation. You have a home, and geographically, perhaps where it's located, cats are just drawn to your house. So you may be taking care of a cat one week, and another cat comes, and by the end of a month, you might be looking after 7 cats, and 30 to 35 days ago, you may not even know who they were. They're coming and going here. Now, people, loving people, obviously kind-hearted people, they will step up and care for feral felines just to help them out. They see their struggle and they want to help. So you, as a caretaker, you might be dealing with a financial strain from buying all this food, perhaps even covering some medical bills. You might feel very overwhelmed, not only financially, but emotionally, especially as more cats continue to show up. Neighbors could complain. If one cat realizes this is where the food is, the other cat tells the other cat, and so there may be houses around you with no cats, but you might have 12 right at your back door, depending on your situation. And the hardest part of all of this, you might feel like you're the only one taking responsibility within the community. So the feeling is very common. It can be very heartbreaking because if you want to care for all the cats, knowing that you just can't. There are effective, though, thankfully effective humane options. And one of the most powerful tools is known as Trap-Neuter-Return, also known as TNR. TNR, it's widely recognized as one of the most effective and compassionate humane ways to manage the feral cat population. The process goes a little something like this. You trap the cats, or you can perhaps call somebody to help you with this. Trap the cats securely and safely, responsibly. Have them spayed and neutered and vaccinated. Everything that they need to, everything that needs to be handled in terms of a health concern. And then they are returned. You return them to the same location as where you trap them. Once the cat is fixed and it no longer can reproduce, which obviously stops the cat colony from growing, it will dramatically reduce the behavior. Spraying, I should say, fighting, roaming, that aggressive nature. Now that they've been fixed, they'll sort of lose their edge a little bit. Over time, the TNR colony becomes healthier and calmer and more stable. Here again, the population will stop amongst this group because no one in the group can reproduce because they've been fixed. If shelters won't take in the cats, TNR is how you, as a community member, can help. It's sort of like the best option, that sort of a meet them in the middle. If the shelter can't take them, TNR is how you can take care of them where they currently live, where you're currently taking care of them without putting them in harm's way. Another step is controlled feeding. Feeding cats at consistent times rather than leaving food out 24/7. It helps keeps this area, where the colony is forming, it helps keeps the area clean. It reduces wildlife, meaning opossums and raccoons come to mind. If they see food on a back patio, well, the cats are getting fed. Why can't I get fed? So you may introduce other elements that you didn't intend. You may look out your window one day and there's a bunch of cats and 4 possums, eating, or even, that's the best case, I guess. Worst case would obviously be there's altercations. They're having their little tussles, and that's a video for another day. So keeping the area clean by just having feeding schedules reduces that wildlife population in that area to coming to the food, and it lowers the chances of obviously people in the neighborhood complaining. It also allows you to monitor the cats more easily, so you can truly spot new arrivals, and you can sort of keep an eye on cats and pick out the ones that perhaps need medical attention. As for the colder seasons, even simple outdoor shelters can save a cat's life. Some sort of a storage bin, a wooden box, or even a sort of a Rubber-made plastic rubber box in different materials and boxes. Fill them with straw, some towels, and you're good to go. These are small gestures, but they're big. They make a big deal in the cold weather climates, especially if you are looking out for a group of feral cats. One of the things that can get overlooked, it's here again, I keep coming back to neighbors, but when people understand that the cats are fixed and vaccinated and you're managing them responsibly, they're much more likely to accept them in the area. If they just see a bunch of cats coming and going every day and sort of don't know the backstory, they can get mad and frustrated and sort of wonder what you're up to. So if you've decided to do this, lay it all out. basically, in short, tell the truth about what's exactly going on, and certainly the health of these felines that you're taking care of. And finally, it's important to acknowledge that if you care for feral cats, um, you're doing a lot of things that a lot of people don't understand. Even cat owners may not understand this angle, this side of being a caretaker. It can be very physically exhausting, mentally exhausting, certainly expensive, and sometimes it feels like you're going at it alone. But um, what you're doing is impactful. It's very compassionate. So if you don't have to, I think it's hard for some people. They want to save all cats, but you don't have to save every cat. You don't even have to try. But just know what you are doing is making a difference. Even if you're helping one, just to feed one, to get one fixed, to provide shelter, it's making a world of difference and a better world for that specific animal. And at the end of the day, I think that's all you can ask for and hope for. You're making a difference, whether it's just one cat or 10. You're making a difference. So, very interesting topic, very detailed topic. I feel like I just scratched the surface, but of course, I don't want to make a 20-minute video here. I could probably almost talk about this for an hour, but it's a side of caretaking of felines that is, I'll just say it's a different side. And if you're on that side, you certainly know the difference. And for those out there doing the best they can in a responsible and loving way, hats off to you and keep up the good work. It's an exhausting task, but stay positive and keep up the good work and, be responsible in all that you do. To the wonderful audience of Senior Cat Wellness, what are your thoughts on this very interesting and detailed topic? Again, as I stated from the top, there are many layers, and I'll let you take it from here in that comment section. It's all yours. Anything you'd like to add, personal stories, personal experience, please do so in the comments below. If you enjoyed this topic, found it helpful, and if you feel that I did a worthy job of shining a light on this subject, please give this video a like, share it out, subscribe to us right here at Senior Cat Wellness. Until next time, we will talk to you later.